Hello again, it's JAMR. I'm going to be filming another one of these helpful videos about 9.5, the effects of globalization, specifically zeroing in on the United States. And without further ado, I will share my screen to the presentation, hit play. Effects of globalization. We're going to illustrate how globalization shapes your life, you. Globalization is the increasing economic, political, and cultural integration of different countries. This is the interdependence principle at work, plainly. Globalization in the labor market. Laborers may not directly compete, but their labor does. Laborers do not know each other. Labor in the United States will not know labor in China. They do not compete. The labor that they input into whatever they're producing does. It is embodied by the goods and services traded between countries. Remember that. Productivity determines wages. Will globalization drive down wages in the United States? Maybe. This won't happen anytime soon based on relative productivity, and employers set wages based on productivity. We are one of the most productive nations in the world. That's important to remember. Therefore, we have one of the highest paid labor populations in the world. In the book, I will show you actually. I'll go to that page in the book, share my screen to the book. Wait for it to load. Come down to this graph. It's also shown. Let's zero in here. On average, U.S. manufacturing workers earn $39 an hour. It's very good compared to the $1.69 in India, the $4.11 in China, the $2.06 in the Philippines, and the $3.96 in Mexico. Whereas in Japan, it's $26 an hour, and in Germany, it's $43 an hour. The United States is doing fairly well. Still wish it was $43 an hour, I'd be safe. Anywho, we are a fairly productive nation, therefore, our population, our labor population is one of the highest paid in the world. Productivity determines wages. Overall point. International trade and income inequality. Some argue that international trade, globalization, increases income inequality in the United States. Globalization increases income inequality. High-skilled American workers are in demand because of the stuff they make. You know, the higher educated the populace, the more specialized they are. The more specialized they are, we're going to put them into more specialized jobs. Therefore, we're not going to have as many unskilled laborers. Places like China are going to fill up the gap. Places like India, Mexico, they're in abundance around the world, and they make goods that are exported. So they're going to export things like shirts. They're going to export things like shoes and other things like this. Low skilled workers are going to make an abundant amount of things like that. Low labor intensive goods. Whereas we're going to start exporting a lot of things like the intellectual material that's coming out of Silicon Valley. We're going to make a lot of snowmobiles. We're going to make a lot of the paint. Paint is a big one. The United States is a leading producer and exporter of paint in the world. But the higher skilled our population is, the more pinpointed and higher skilled required goods that we're going to produce, and we're going to lose lower skilled required jobs by producing shirts. It increases the income gap between high skilled and low skilled workers in the United States, essentially what I said before. Discussion question: fair or free trade? What are your thoughts on fair trade versus free trade? Feel free to pause the video here if you wish. I'm not going to stop. I'm going to continue on. Key takeaways from this is trade is about cooperation, not competition. The more we work together, the more that everybody gets out. Remember that people who trade never lose out. Trade is always going to help out. It's not just about business. Consumers matter too. Oddly enough, consumers don't have a big voice in what happens in the overall market of the world in the United States, even though we're the ones who provide the most to it because we buy everything. Remember, trade is an opportunity and trade is a threat. Because of what I said in the previous slide, the more that we trade the stuff that we're good at making, the more that we're going to need more people to produce something like that. So we're going to continue to try and invest in higher skilled workers, and we're not going to invest as much time. We're going to incentivize that and promote that, whereas people who are lower skilled aren't going to be as prevalent as they are in other countries, and therefore we're not going to be able to export as much of that. We're going to end up buying more of that, which is something that shall occur, and trade causes short-term disruptions. All right. That all in all are the key takeaways. I'm going to stop sharing my screen. Stop sharing. And if you guys have any questions, let me know. Make sure to read the book. This is a companion. These videos are companions to the book chapters. And yeah, shoot me off an email, text in Slack, show up to my office hours if you guys have any questions. And otherwise, I guess I will see you in class next week.